Welcome back to the channel, you guys. This is your girl, Wicked Raider 22, coming at you with another short champion analysis, especially for beginners. I want to take a look at a champion that many of us will have the opportunity to pull if you are now starting to progress through your account and you're doing short pulls on a regular basis. As you probably have guessed, I am a lover of many of the champions that come from the High Elf faction, and this champion is no different. So we're going to take a look today at Medicus. Medicus is one of those champions, doesn't have a lot of reviews actually. And of course, I summoned her through shard pools from the previous Clan Be Clan. This is a brand new account, so haven't had this account for very long, though it is still free to play. Looking at her reviews, overall pretty good. Where she is weakest is going to be in potion keeps, of course. So your magic, of course, Spider's Den is not going to be her largest area. Labyrinth, I'm not worried about using her there. And these bottom two, I'll be honest, Iron Twin Fortress, even on my pay to play, I do not select champions based on their abilities there. And then, of course, you have Demon Lord. So here's a champion that for many of your accounts will be quite niche. If you are a lover of champions such as Eris, Sniper, I'm thinking about champions like maybe even Painkeeper, Adjudicator is another one that comes to mind. Medicus kind of falls into the category of a hybrid between those champions. For a newer account, if you have already perhaps used Sniper as food, which don't worry, we've all done it before, and I promise you, she will come back around. Medicus actually has a skill that is quite nice. So let's take a look at her skill set. Please ignore the build if that happens to pop up, because I'm only working with, of course, the gear I've been able to farm so far. I think early game is always, it's not the silver or the gems that get you in the beginning. It's not even the energy that gets you. It's the availability of, or your access to really good gear and artifacts. So 3 skill champion, starting with dual scalpel. She attacks one enemy 2 times. This isn't uncommon. If you are with any Bannerlord champion, for example, this is pretty common for them. Requires 4 books. We can definitely book this up to an increase of 20% on damage, and she is an attack-based champion. So she's in a support champion that has her skills based on her level of attack. Second skill is going to be restraints. Attacks all enemies. Has a 50% chance of placing a 15% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. This, of course, damage can be increased by 10%. The buff debuff chance can be increased by 20%. And you can place this particular skill on a 3-turn cooldown. Now, attack on all enemies is always a key. It's always helpful, especially early game. If you are running, let's say, for example, you pull your ultimate Death Knight, so you've already earned him. He has his skill that's able to attack all enemies. If you have Sniper on the team, for example, she has an attack all enemies skill as well. If you're coming in with the Gaelic or a Medicus, even a Elhain, all of those champions will give you at least 1 to 2 skills where they're able to attack all enemies. What I do like about Medicus is this is one of my favorite skills for her. The decreased speed debuff should not be underestimated. So you can take it from 15% all the way up to 35%. I would love to see it higher, but gosh, she's a rare champion. And for a rare champion, when she's able to successfully land this skill, it is a pretty good one. And you can see here, her speed isn't bad. Base 106 is kind of nice. I've seen some great champions that start at 90, 91, and it makes it difficult because they aren't able to get their skill off quick enough. Last but not least, she's coming in with Stimulant Elixir. Places a 30% increased defense buff early game. Early game. Increased defense is a helpful one to have on all allies for 2 turns. So she is giving to the team. Also places a 15% increased speed buff on this champion for 2 turns. And we can take this from a 6-turn to a 3-turn cooldown. She is not book intensive. Now, early game, you're going to have access to quite a few rare tombs. And I'm going to encourage you, be very careful about how you choose to use your books. On more than one occasion, I have booked a champion, used the champion, really liked the champion, and then I realized I pull another champion who I love a lot more, and I end up having to sacrifice my original champ. The downfall is I have wasted books. And that's the part that hurts the most. And I want you to really think about this, especially when you're looking at your epic and your legendary champions. So if we want to go over and just kind of take a look, and of course, this is a newbie team. I think we're only level 25 on this particular account. So for campaign, I am still in normal. Been working on just moving across. On a previous video, I kind of explained to you guys the method that I use as I'm going from one stage of campaign to the next. So my progression to a lot of you guys, I'm going to blow through this really quickly, but I run each stage twice. I try to run it first with just 2 champions, or I may run it with a team and then go back and run it with 2 champions, just to make sure the way I am constructing my teams and the way that my champions are currently geared up is going to be good enough to take them through the next level. So we're going to try a new area that we have not tried so far. And I'm going to go in. Oh, this one makes me nervous. Let's go in first, I guess, let's just do a team of 4. So we'll add Medicus in there, slide her in, and just kind of see what she does. So on this team, we have Ultimate Death Knight, of course, our legendary pool, which he's amazing. You have, Aethel, love her. Oh, this guy, my smash dude. I always forget his name. He's pretty nice, guys. I'm going to be honest. Early game, I got him, and previously, I would never build him out. But as you can see, Shatterbones never sticks with me. This little dude smacks, like, as an epic champion. Never thought to keep him before. He's always been pulled at a time where I was focused on another champion. I didn't think to vault him either. I just went ahead and just either used him or just ignored him, and he's sitting on a couple of my accounts. But this guy's kind of nice. Now, here, my girl is not doing very much. Don't let that throw you off. But let's see what happens if I come in and I attempt to make this happen with just her and Ultimate Death Knight. Because Shatterbones is going to do a lot of work. I think, honestly, he could probably go in and solo his way through these early campaign levels. And Death Knight is probably going to do the same for me. So I may have to place her. And I want you to see her second skill, which I think it's coming. Give me a little love. Nope, she still did not go into that second skill. Her attack all skill is kind of nice. She's not flipping into it right now. There was a decreased speed. There was the one, that was a skill that should have attacked all for us. So that would have been pretty nice. And I run my teams on auto majority of the time. We'll do another run and I'll go ahead and take her off. Take it off auto and just kind of use the skill so we can see what she's able to do. But it can be pretty nice. And they're going to be successful as a duo. So I can take that all day long. Let's go to a level and we're going to actually remove the auto so we can determine what they do. So here we go. First attack, we're pretty good. We're going to just place it. And I have not done this in so long. So we're going to let all them go, of course. And then I'm going to come in with her second attack. And let's just say we place it here. And what it does when it attacks all enemies, remember you do have that percentage of whether you will obtain the decreased speed. What I like about it when I am in arena, for example, as I've moved in higher levels, even within certain keeps, I've noticed that it will land right behind the other champions on my particular team. It lands at just the right time. And so even with let's say you have Gaelic, for example, if he's already reached level 40, I try to take my initial champion and literally go through as many levels as I can with just those 2 champions. We're talking about a champion who is level 22. I mean, not highly starred just yet. And to get her to a 5-star, I think would be pretty interesting. Now, the question does become, would you 5-star this champion? Absolutely. I think as you run through, at least early game, you can easily, 5-star her without feeling the crunch of resources, because you just have so many champions you can also be running as food as well. The other thing is, I would love to see how her gameplay looks as you start to add masteries in, because she's currently a 4-star champion. I've only ascended her 1-star. So I want to run her through the keep just as a part of a team so I can fully ascend her. But the other thing is, I would also like to start placing masteries on her to kind of see the damage that she's able to do and the amount of support that she's also able to provide for the team. I'm thinking about Ice Golem. Early game, if I'm coming in with my original champs that I pulled recently, how far would I be able to go at that particular moment? So that's going to be pretty important to me. If you haven't guessed by now, I'm a clan v clan kind of girl. I absolutely love that part of the game. And so being able to have a champion and kind of seeing what they can do, especially when you're going up and trying to acquire major points, it's going to be a big one for me. Now, kind of taking a look here, this gives a much better idea or a much better view at what she's able to do. Now, right now, my ultimate Death Knight is only, at level 33. He is 5-star, so he's improving. His gear is not great. We're still working with 2 and 3-star gear, so keep that in mind. And that's true for both of them. But take a look at the damage. Take a look at the defense. And of course, she can improve in support as well. So I think there's some true potential here. I don't keep a lot of champions on this account. I'm actually going to run these guys for the sole purpose of 4-starring my sniper and preparing to take Bone Smasher from a 4-star to a 5-star. I need to also upgrade my Aethel. Like, these guys are strictly for that reason. And so when you're going through, remember, if you keep your champion amount really small in the beginning, it can definitely pay out. These 2 champions could likely at least go through 2 to 3 stages by themselves, just going across the campaign map, because they've already been used and we're starting to work on those areas of strength. I want to be sure that they are mastered as they go. And so that's going to be one of my biggest goals. So guys, tell me, have you pulled a support champion or even an HP champion that you've been really excited about? If you pull a champion that you pulled before several times, but never thought to build, never booked, did anything with, and then suddenly they were there, it's usually faction crypt that forces us to build out those unexpected champions. But have you built anyone recently who's actually had an impact on your game? You can see it here. My girl is right behind Ultimate Death Knight. So I think Medicus for me is going to make a 5-star. I will probably fully ascend her and kind of leave her there. I know that there are other champions in the game that have skills that are just like hers, but they are done a little bit better. And so I don't mind that at all. If I find that she will better benefit my account based on the team she's associated with, I may think about 6-starring her. But for right now, Medicus for me all day long is a great champion to definitely work with and to think about taking to that 5-star level. If you haven't already, guys, and if you are in need of a clan, we have some slots available. So I have the search name available in the description, but type in 22WK. We would love to have you guys. We're staying active over this way, 26 out of 30 members. So we do have 4 slots available, just trying to keep everything together and moving. So excited about the next Clan v Clan that's coming our way. Really, really anxious about what champion we may see released at the end of the month as we get closer and closer to Halloween. And of course, we're getting closer to those tournaments rolling over as well. If there's a champion you would love for me to kind of break down from that beginner's level, let me know in the comments. Or if you use this champion, where do you use her? How has she benefited your accounts? I would love to hear from you. You guys keep gaming, and I'll talk to you soon.